As we're talking about more spells, John, Lion comes out. So a BDZ, he's going to have a field day this game.
Yeah, all the spells in World to Steel. Lots of impact coming through. I think Neon's mindset and kind of playing against Execration is just getting themselves really tanky, right? Dawnbreaker's going to be healing up in the fight, so you get the Rum buff to hold off, stall out the fight, try to get control with Ravage and the Boat and the Torrent here, maybe even following up with the Earthspike Hex from the Lion. So just kind of trying to match the stalling of Execration. I think Execration still has the stronger team fight coming through, though. Like, you've got RP into Solar Guardian, so there's chain stunning there. You clump the enemy heroes up if you get good RP from Tino. And we have seen Tino's Magnus a few times already. It is a really good Magnus. He plays it spectacularly well, having great performance in that hero for Execration every time. So I think he will deliver the goods there.
Ooh.
And even take that TA now to match in the mid. Now, TA versus Kunkka is an odd one, because on paper, the Kunkka does have a good time. When you do manage to get the X Torrent, you will burn off Refraction. It is enough damage ticks to take out Refraction early on. So the Kunkka can still kind of juggle that lane. Issue is, you tend to still want the Tideburner build. And in that case, the TA can just hold lane. You're not going to lose out on too much of your Refraction from that. You can tank through the wave, tank through the damage. You just kind of need to sidestep and predict where the Torrent will be. So it's much more on Mamangdaya to cut off the TA in this case. And TA is going to... if the Torrent doesn't land, the TA has a pretty good lane still.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, OB.Neon, Execration, final ban stage for themselves. Both teams kind of looking for a position 1. I suppose the Weaver can still be pos 1, but you've got Tide Weaver in the offlane. It's just too powerful of a combination not to run, I think. So OB.Neon, I'm pretty sure we'll be looking for another position 1 here for Palos. See what they do pick up. In the meantime, though, OB.Neon seem to believe it might be a safe lane TA we're looking at. Banning out the Ember, which is interesting. We know Bob really specializes on this this mid TA. Suppose they could switch things up, maybe throw Bob in the safe lane. Maybe Marv plays a pretty mean TA himself. Suppose this draft from Execration is still fairly open.
Yeah, I think... I feel like if you've got the Bob special TA, you just run it. Even if it's against a Kunkka, you still have some outplay potential. Although we have seen Marb play safe lane TA. I'm not sure on Execration, but definitely on IAP I have seen that, and he does perform. So the flexibility is there, but it's Bob's hero. He always performs in TA. You might as well give him that one on the mid matchup against Mamangdaya's own special and see how that works out. Again, if you just sidestep Torrent, you can kind of still win out. It's just easier said than done. And you are fairly close early on to get your hits off because you do lack the Psyblade. So it can be a bit awkward for the TA in the first 3 levels. I think that's where it's a bit painful for Bob. Once you ride through that point, you're fine. I find it interesting Execration still respect ban the Husker. They don't want to give that option to Mamangdaya. He does have his Kunkka, so I don't think they would shift for the Husker in that point. But I guess really just protecting Bob and ensuring that he does have a good game on mid.
Yeah. Just in case. OB.Neon. Final pickup. Again, I do believe they just want to carry here for Palos. They are going to go down the Morphling route. Now, I'm really not sure how I feel about this hero right now. In fact, I'm very sure how I feel about this hero. It's not good. It's the results we've been seeing from Morphling. It hasn't been amazing. Do you like it this game, John? Do you think maybe it's a good pickup? I'm honestly not sure about it.
I don't like it. I think in this case, if you are going to run the Morph, you're going to have to run it for the physical build. So, not the shotgun. I don't think you want to play for the instant burst here, especially against a TA. If you don't melt Refraction with Kunkka, your E-Blade's not going to melt her down anyway. And Execration do go with the A, so it is a core Dawnbreaker. Looks like we will get maybe a Marb Dawnbreaker, and yeah, Bob takes a TA, Tino takes Magnus, Marb Dawnbreaker. So pause
Nice.
1, emulating what we've seen from CTM. We'll see how much Marb can get. In the lane matchup against Tidehunter, I think the Dawnbreaker, it's still a melee hero, but you do have good wave clear on the Dawnbreaker, so you should still be able to find steady farm. AA last pick from Execration. It's almost the same thing we saw from the Shadow Demon pick earlier on in game 1, where it's a great counter to all of the sustain OB.Neon wants to play. It counteracts a boat buff, it counteracts a Morphling, it plays really well with RP. So you have really strong team fight from Execration, and I think off the bat, Mike, I'm going to say Execration has a better draft. It's not as close as it was where OB.Neon had a window in game 1 They've got great scaling on Execration early, great scaling into late, and for Neon, it's all about counterplay. Palace does have to, again, emphasize the right-click build, go for either an SNY Dragonlance or a Manta Dragonlance sort of build, focus on just playing around the minus armor from Weaver Tide. I don't think the E-Blade build will do you any favors here.
No, certainly not. I mean, I'm kind of torn, right? Because Bob, he's the real carry this game. I think we've already established that. I do believe Mob's just going to kind of... He's almost playing Pos 2 right now on this Dawnbreaker, and it's similar to what we saw from Boom last series. You just kind of trust the mid-TA to be able to carry you later on. And I believe XctN was playing Razor that game, which is sort of a similar kind of hero in that sense that you're more inclined to make space for the TA. Thing is, against Mamang Daya's Kunkka, is where things kind of get me, right? Because this man does play a really, really mean Kunkka. We'll see how Bob deals with it. I mean, this is where Bob the Wrecker came from, the TA matchup. But then again, sometimes he is Bob the Builder, John. That's not a good thing. We'll see which one shows up today.
Yeah, a lot of pressure riding on Bob. He has to get that good start. He has to work against that tough laning matchup and kind of get running from there. Should be a fun game regardless. Even though I think Execration does come out with a better draft, there's a lot of play opportunities for OB.Neon. Palos calling out the AA pick. It says you're counteracting my morph with the AA. No, he's acting like he didn't figure out, oh, the AA is a counter to morph. I didn't know that.
Well done, Palos. You fooled us all, sir. So, OB.Neon, they're looping around again on this high ground. We saw this last game. Didn't amount to a first blood last time around. I believe they were just trying to scout out where the observer wards are. A little bit of time remaining on the smoke of Execration, but there you go, it does wear off in the end. Both teams just trying to scout out where this observer ward could be. Neither one figuring it out yet. Mob. Terra take a tier 1 tower hit. Seems to think it's on the left side, but he is incorrect. He's on his own high ground cliff. They might be able to pick him off here. They see him. He's right under vision right now. Mamang Dai going to try and rush forward, but doesn't really want to get the X level 1, of course. Mob will be able to run away scot-free. OB.Neon, they will get nothing for their trouble apart from their 2 bounty runes. Though I say that, Marb was trying to take it off Enryu apparently. Won't be able to take it, however.
Yeah, I want to point out before we break into the lanes, Mike. See these wards from OB.Neon emphasizing mid. They understand that they've got to cut off the bottle supply for Bob. Just ensure that they've got rune control in this game with these 2 really early wards just emphasizing mid. And they should be able to get that done. So they want to cut off Bob's start. Of course, just try to give Mamang Dai a great time in this matchup. Level 1 to 3 for TA here is not too bad. And Kunkka is going to need some points in the Torrent to really get Bob out. And early level in Refraction means he is going to be protected. For the TA, once you hit level 3, level 2 Refraction, level 1 Sideblades, it can get a bit easier in trading. And you can kind of maintain a Refraction as long as the Torrent doesn't land. So it's a back and forth one. It's down to Mamang Dai to get the right play off. But Bob is very slippery in that TA. He might be able to bait out the Torrent use here.
Certainly so. Torrent is committed. Bob not going to cop it. He'll be fine. This mid lane, or rather top lane, Enryu is going to be on that Tide. Is going to be there with Hustler, and you've got that minus armor strat going on from these 2 against Marb and RR. And we've seen this kind of matchup many times for at least the Tide Weaver, and there is plenty of kill potential with these 2. Just need to gush into the swarm. Well, sometimes you don't even need the swarm. Even just the gush alone is just so much damage amp for both heroes. Still, against the Dawnbreaker, she is known to dominate the lane quite hard. And as you can see, just that one combo alone gets rid of 2/3 of the HP of Enryu. So you've got to be a little bit cautious because there is definitely turn potential, even if you do get all that minus armor off.
Yeah, and the Dawnbreaker is still really tanky, although it doesn't have much base armor. The Mind's armor will hurt, but she has a lot of HP to at least cop the hits. You have to watch for the timing once you do have the cold feet up. If you can get the cold feet along with the Starbreaker, that's pretty much a guaranteed kill almost. Maybe, especially while the Tide doesn't have Kraken Shield, so gotta watch out. RR cut off though.
Yeah, nice block there from Hustler. He'll try to break down the tree, but it will not work out. First blood, the way to Enryu. Bob now, he'll have to sit back a little bit. But never mind, he goes right in for a Starbreaker. Bit of damage out onto Hustler, but not too much. Because the last lane is going to be that bot lane where you do see Palos and UK against BDZ and Tino. Now, I was talking a lot about BDZ's Rubik, but I do also enjoy seeing Tino on this Magnus. See, a bit of a monster on this hero if he does get that early Blink Dagger timing. See if he does manage to get it this game around, but so far so good. 11-2, actually ahead of Palos right now, and not really struggling to secure any form of farm here.
Yeah, I think for Palos, he's just having to be a bit cautious. You've got the lift into Skewer back. That can come true. Of course, the Morphling is fairly mobile as well with a waveform, but you don't want to take that risk. You don't want to give that opening towards Tino. And that also means that UK is going to have to hold back on the aggression. They can kind of cut off the Skewer back with a Hex and Earth Spike, but it's still not the kind of play you want, and there you go.
Yeah, UK, he does not have mobility, and he will die. Gold is going to be split, so it's not too big of a deal, but definitely happy days here for Execration. I'm sure we'll see that a couple times during this laning phase onto that poor Lion. Looking back at mid though, John, Mamang Daya having a fantastic time on the Kunkka. As Torrent's starting to get very annoying here for Bob. Because mind you, Bob on this TA, we say this every time, but he's always going to have the jungle to go back to. So keep an eye out to see if OB.Neon's going to infiltrate that jungle very early against Bob. If they don't though, Bob should still be able to catch up after this bad laning stage he's having thus far.
Yeah, I think the good news for OB.Neon is that they have cut off the small camp with a sentry early on, and it hasn't been dewarded. So there's no side camp for Bob to easily access from mid, holding off some of that flash farm you can get in TA, and just kind of giving a little bit more towards the side of OB.Neon in terms of value. So you're having a good time for Mamang Daya, building up a slight lead. Bob, no stacks being built up in the jungle, and he has to be very careful about walking into the Torrent, because every time that happens, Mamang Daya has a big window to just lay on some really good Tideburner damage.
Yeah. UK, bot lane, going for a bit of a chase onto BDZ, but Brown Boots up on BDZ. He's just fine to run. It's like Bob has already kind of committed himself to the jungle now, as even the small camp was blocked off, so he's going to have to unblock that before he can actually get to it. They've really just put a lot of emphasis on ruining the mid lane of Execration. Again though, Bob always going to have the jungle to return to. But I suppose with Mamang Daya farming this wall though on the Kunkka, he's going to be able to rotate very early on. Especially if he gets that first power rune that does spawn up. We'll see soon. But he's already at that level 6 mark, already clearing creeps in the jungle. And yeah, one power rune, if he gets lucky enough with something like a haste, he'll be on his way to either the top and bot lane. So I imagine top would probably be the better option, because you probably want to find this Dawnbreaker. Speaking of the devil, they are going to go in right now. Marb going to go for the Starbreaker out. It's not going to connect onto Enryu. Can they keep this dive up though? Marb is very low, but is not going to drop.
Yeah, still really tanky. Had the tower aura as well for armor and HP regen, so they can't fully commit. And Morb, despite having a bit of a rough lane, is still finding farm. Not completely zoned out. 32-1, much better time than Palace, and there goes the combo.
Yeah, absolutely. Enryu in big trouble. Hustler going to try and help out. It looks like they may not finish the job, but Marb does have another Celestial Hammer in 1 second. Pops the mango, goes for it, and does have the damage. Great pick up there for Marb. Well, Hustler, he's going to be cautious. Sakuchi down for another 7. Marb, Starbreaker. He wouldn't make it in time now. He does try, but just way off the mark.
Still a great kill to get on the Tide, giving more towards Marb. About to hit level 6, so he can actually show up for a fight if they need to leverage that aura. And this is the point when Dawnbreaker starts to come online really fast. Phase Boots coming out, more physical damage coming through, more move speed. Marb just going to TP home because he does have the Solar Guardian up, so he can just Solar Guardian back to the lane to force the fight.
Here comes the Solar Guardian down to that bot lane. They will at least find the Lion, I believe, as Marb does manage to pick him up. Palos, he's dropping low, but he has that Strength Morph. Instead, they'll try onto Mamang Daya. But in the meantime, Tino does end up dropping to the boat damage. That first Solar Guardian not really paying off here. OB.Neon should be pretty happy with that rotation from the Kunkka.
Yeah, it works out. I think you're not too dissuaded here on the side of Execration. At least you get some early presence out from Marb, and he does manage to start farming up with the Empower on him. And Tino did manage to get that off before dying, so you're getting some value there. The rotation from our Kunkka, though, does free up space for Bob mid, so Execration still finding that space very useful. They are diving RR up top, though. No backup for this poor AA.
And in the meantime, the bot lane, UK and BDZ both dropping very low. Marb going to keep trying for UK as BDZ. A nice lift up to the high ground onto Mamangdaya. And both supports will somehow make it out. Or UK, he might get spotted. BDZ still trying for the Fade Bolt, but isn't within range yet. And Mamangdaya eventually is going to be able to secure this support Ruby.
Yeah, another pick off for OB.Neon to build up on. Mamangdaya, as we mentioned earlier on, Mike, tends to set the tempo with that Kunkka. So he's off to a good start, still up there in CS, up there in net worth. Has level 8 up, level 2x, much easier to line up for the interrupt on the skewer back or on just setting up for a kill, and Tino's got to be a bit cautious here.
Tino, well, there's the boat again, Mamangdaya. Third kill of the game, 8.5 minutes in. Not breaking a sweat on this Kunkka. And this is why you've got to kind of respect Van the Kunkka against this man. Whether the hero is in meta or not, he just plays it at such a high level. It just feels impossible to play against at times.
Yeah, he just knows where to go, knows how to use his spells, always finds the angle. And he understands that he's got to provide some relief towards Palace's lane. He's had a very slow start in Morphling. This is helping him catch up. Up top, though.
Yeah, Enryu. He's going to be fine. Kraken Shell will purge off the cold feed of RR. So no locking down that tide as BDZ now going to get caught again. Mamangdaya, he has not returned back into the lane whatsoever. Still trying to go for more, but BDZ is going to be saved by the Solar Guardian. And Marb, he'll take the time, just clear out these Ancients. As you did find Mamangdaya, did spot them out. So you don't want to buy him the time to come back and take them instead. Still, he's not done. He's going after Tino now. X, though, was not out. So the skewer away is going to be successful. It's down at the mid lane. Marb is now getting dived by Hustler. He does have the time lapse, so he is going to be okay to get himself out. Bob, juke out the torrent. No power rune down at that pot rune spot, though. It is up top. RI, he'll just deny it off.
R is going to be a bit greedy, grabs the bounty. Mamangdaya will have X up, so they could go for that kill.
They can try, and with the boat coming in, not really much of a chance of survival here for RR. I guess Mamangdaya is just never going back to a lane. He's done.
Yeah, just take activity, apply that early pressure with the level advantage you have, and keep buying space out for your Morphling. OB.Neon has managed to stall out to give Palos some room to breed. He's got the Morbid Mask. He is actually going for the E-Blade. So still valuing the burst. Perhaps just seeing that the disarm on the TA is going to be really useful before the BKB is up. And that is one way to kind of handle the early damage output of that Templar Assassin. The side of Execration are the ones to take it a bit slower. You know, farming up in Bob, farming up in Tino. They need to wait for certain timings. They want that blink on the Magnus first before they can really start rolling his tree on their supports. And before that's up, it's just a slower pace. You have that presence with the Solar Guardian, but you can't really get the RP combo you want. So you need to wait for Tino. It's all down to the Magnus to hit that blink timing here.
Well, Tino definitely might have to kind of bring them back into this game and stop the momentum. It's a nice skewer back. Palos, quick morph out onto the mag, and you just spoke about Tino. John, he's down. Marb, he did not react fast enough with the Solar Guardian. Gives the story over, but Tino's already gone. In the meantime, Bob, he's going to try and go after Mamangdaya, but there's no really killing off the Kunkka right now. In fact, you look at the itemization here from this Kunkka, straight into the Halberd, and it's going to make things very, very tough for Bob in this TA. Not going to be easy times whatsoever.
No. Yeah, it's all about focusing in on denying the win condition from finding what they want. And they understand that Bob is going to be the big hitter, so you just get disarms, you get the E-Blade for more disarms as well. It's going to take a while for Bob to hit Detso Blink plus BKB, so he's going to be vulnerable to that combination from the Morphling for quite some time. And they're still doing a good job of just constantly being a nuisance in the jungle. Like you see Hustler come in, steal a couple of creeps, just force movements out, not giving any free room to Execration.
Boat to fly in. They have got BDZ controlled up. Sakuchi, he is not going to make it. Hustler still managed to secure the kill. The Earth Spike does land onto Bob, but they aren't going to go for the dive that far in yet. That tier 1 tower, however, very, very nice prize for OB.Neon to just burst down. Bob try to come in, but doesn't really have the damage right now to defend this. Problem is, he is very reliant on having access to his own jungle to be able to make this this essentially POS 1 PA or TA work out. He's going to lose access very soon if they can't defend the tier 1 mid. In fact, Execration, they've got all 5 heroes here just to make sure it doesn't go down.
Yeah, they've got a big timing here to blink up on Tino, so they can get the blink skewer, blink RPs up, and play with that Solar Guardian combo now.
Tino, he's going to try, and he gets it right on the mark into the Ice Blast. And Palos, he will get tipped. RR. Now, I believe that was the first Ice Blast he's landed on Palos this game, so he's very happy.
Yeah. Issue is, mid-tier 1's freed up for a bit of a shove-in, so Enryu, Hustler getting to work, forcing the TP back from Tino. Blink RP still an option for Execration just, and even the Solar Guardian, they didn't expend it, so they can still force this big team fight. OB.Neon has to be a bit cautious. This is the timing now.
Oh, another skewer, Tino. It's a hard target to take down. Enryu, he's a tanky boy and does have the Ravage, but he's not going to pop it. He will just walk away. Again, Bob just doesn't have enough damage yet to deal with something like the Tide. So 7-4, but OB.Neon, they continue to hold that 3k net worth advantage. I suppose the rest of Execration, they need to keep trying to be aggressive here. They can't sit back and relax, that's for sure. But it seems like they haven't really got a target to go after.
It's a bit tough because that bot tier 1 is still standing, so they can't really dip into that bot jungle for more farm or try to cut someone off playing that jungle. Their information on the map is a bit limited from Execration side as well. They've only got one forward ward watching this bot jungle area. They will go for the smoke play. Again, RP still ready to go on Tino. He has been on a roll with the skewer backs. Could find a nice start in that top jungle.
Dire are scanning.
Execration still not finding what they want. Oh, they might run into Palos though. If they head up north, they'll find a Morphling. In fact, Palos about to show himself on the creep wave. Not quite within vision yet. RP, oh boy. They were following the courier. They thought he was farming the large camp and they committed the RP. Oh, I mean, you've got to try, I guess, but that's a little rough.
Yeah, it's a massive spell to whiff. They could still play with Skewer back, but the moment's passed. Mid still being shoved in by OB.Neon. They did smoke up Squall, not finding anything, but the tower is set to fall from a couple of hits, and that's going to open up the map more for OB.Neon. We talk about the importance of this tower. Deny does come through from Bob. Now it's going to be tougher to keep control in the jungle.
Oh, make matters worse, John. Tino ends up going down now to Palos in UK. I didn't think that could get any worse in the top lane. In the meantime, Mob, he's been caught out. Mamunk Dire, going to be just fine to have the damage. And oh, this POS 1 Dawnbreaker certainly not looking great at the moment. Bob, he does at least have the Deso up now and can get started. Ice Blast is going to go through Enryu, but it should be just enough, but not with the Halberd. It won't matter though, because RR, he does eventually claim the kill with that Ice Blast. The 9-5 now. You're not finding favorable trades at all if you're Execration.
No, you're not finding big kills anymore. You're kind of forced to keep trying to play this farm game, building up in Bob. That is allowing Palos to hit his E-Blade timing, which is flying out now. So Palos has the burst damage to kind of handle the TA, has another disarm to toss out. Bob's a long way away from the Blink and the BKB. But with the Deso up, at the least the TA can get some hits going. You will find that bot tier 1, opening up more space for themselves to get some farm on. I'm keen to see that Marb is going for Radiance as well on the Dawnbreaker. It does provide a lot of presence for the Dawnbreaker. The mischance is going to be really helpful against the Morphling, the Kunkka, and the Weaver to an extent, but it is slow going. Like, the Dawnbreaker just doesn't flash farm too much, although he is keeping up in pace quite nicely, only about 800 gold behind Morph. Still, a bit of a risky spot for Execration.
Alright. Yeah, a bit of an... Oh, it should be an easy pick off. The Solar Guardian was out, but I'm not sure if that was a great ulti. And RR's still going to die, and now Marb's in a spot of danger as Enryu. He gets in for the Ravage. Marb, he can only Starbreaker and try to run. They might let him go, though, because they found the real carry. They've got Bob on the TA, and that's just way better of a pick-off. RR, he'll get a tip back from Palos. These Starbreakers, excuse me, rather Solar Guardians, I think they're a bit too panicked, for lack of a better word. It doesn't feel... It doesn't flow. Like, Solar Guardian on an AA, for what? You know? You've got to ask the question.
Yeah, I think for Execration, they need to play with the RP Solar Guardian. They need to be aggressive, not defensive and reactive. And they have to get that clump up. They have to get the follow-up stun from the RP, the sustain, the heal on multiple heroes to get max value. And OB.Neon aren't giving them those openings. OB.Neon's just very disciplined and kind of staying far apart enough to prevent big RPs. They managed to catch out the AA, which is big in and of itself. Once RR is gone, controlling the Morphling becomes a lot harder. Threatening the Morphling without the Ice Blast is just nearly impossible with what you have right now on Execration's side, I know.
Yeah, they found that Dawnbreaker. Will go for the Starbreaker and try to survive. Ice Blast is not really going to be that great, but they might even find Enryu here. Skewer back, RR's down, RP committed. Palos was caught in that RP, but he was already strength morphing. It looks like BDZ is going to die in the back as now Bob's being caught out. A real disastrous find here for Execration as they're going to lose another, it looks like. Tino, he'll skewer away, but the chase is on. I think Hustler might even be able to just get the kill on his own now. If you can find him, that is. In fact, never mind that. They want the Roshan.
They can clear this real quick with all the minus armor they have with Tide, Hunter, and Weaver. And Execration don't have a play now. They don't have RP. They do have Solar Guardian, but without the first piece of control from the RP, it's a very hard fight to take. Still, Tino could look for a steal, but he can get the timing.
Oh, he tried. He tried to react as fast as possible, but that's going to cost him his own life. Meanwhile, RR has been caught out again on the AA, but with the Shadow Amulet, it's not going to be that helpful. Hustler will take the kill on the Weaver now. AK net worth advantage. I can confidently say, John, that this draft has fallen apart. And I think Dota Plus will probably be heavily in the favor of OB.Neon. 93%. I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yep, it's right on point. OB.Neon's hitting their timings, Execration are falling a bit flat. There is some turn potential once you get more items up though, like say Bob's BKB is the big one. Once you can kind of avoid the disarms, avoid the E-Blade, and TA becomes a bit harder to manage. The Radiance is going to be up on Marb soon. Again, I'm not sure how much the Radiance burn will do with the Solar Guardian, but it will provide some durability out with the mischance, and some damage coming through. The key thing is execution. Execration needs to get Blink RP Solar Guardian on. Like, there's so much pressure on Tino to make these plays, and he's tried. It's just fallen flat a couple of times. They need to be cautious as OB.Neon. You know, they've got the Ags up on Mamang Daya, the water park's there. They're smoked up with Ravage ready to go.
Forward, Tino, RR, both going to try and get the hell out of there. Radiance is up now. Maybe they can make a play with this item. Or at least for now, OB.Neon not going to find the targets they'd like. Palos, shotgun is up. BDZ will get blown up. Right now, BDZ is just not really having a game on this Rubik either. We pretty far distance from what I was saying earlier, John, with the BDZ Rubik. Just zero impact at the moment. Wouldn't necessarily blame it on him though, because everyone just kind of dies too fast for him to even be able to do anything. In the meantime, top lane's just being forced now. They're just so confident here on OB.Neon. Take this tier 2 top tower, and there'll be no contest for it either. In fact, bot lane, they've started another team fight. Tino Gonna miss the skewer as well as UK does juke it out. Solar Guardian is not gonna help out their AA. He might at least get a Lion, or maybe not, as the Earth Spike is out. And now Marb, well, he's in dire straits, John. Bob, he'll get a Lion kill. But the rest of OB.Neon, they are coming in, and I believe they have found, no, they haven't. Bob's out of there, but they found Marb.
Yeah, they still get a nice kill going the way of OB.Neon. They only lose their support. Now they get to smoke up. They still have Ravage, still have Boat, still have the Water Park coming through with the Torn Storm on Mamang Daya. And the options to play for Execration are just very limited. They need to get a good initiation. They have to stop being reactive with that Solar Guardian. You mentioned it earlier, Mike, but every single time it's just a use to save a support. It doesn't work out. They need to use that more offensively with the combination they have on hand. They have to be careful. That smoke is still going here.
You know, blink away from UK. They know he's somewhere, but they're not going to spot him out yet.
Radiant are scanning.
Scan not going to catch him either. Mamang Daya, as his spidey senses tingling, he still knows he's around. How far will you check, Mr. Kunkka? I don't think he'll go that far south. Tino, he should be okay. 5 seconds on the TP as well, so have it at any
Radiant's
moment.
middle tower is under attack.
Meantime, Palos is just farming the enemy triangle, though Ice Blast Lift is out. They've got the morph, but they've got no damage. The blink was on cooldown from Bob. He can still try, but he can't just blink into the high ground like that. Not without vision. So Palos, even with that combo, he's just fine.
They need some follow-up. They need the damage to fly through. Now Tino quick on blink back, but you can see OB.Neon's ready to be aggressive. Aegis still stands for only about 40 seconds, so not a massive window, but they hit an item spike here, Mike. Time-lapse, Ags upgrade on Hustler. So even if you catch Palos, well, you can still kind of blow him down, but I believe time-lapse doesn't count as a heal. So you can still bring back the Morphling from the edge of death if you're fast enough, and that just makes it even harder to handle that Morphling this game.
Amazing. Well, bot lane's just going to be forced in now. I mean, Aegis or not, they could kill Palos if he's found out alone. With the rest of his team around him, it's just very hard to see him actually dying on this Morphling. They'll get the tier 2 tower at the bot lane. Only one outer tower standing, and look who's been caught. Marb, he'll take the boat. UK's there with the follow-up Earth Spike, and now the Torrent Storm will come in. He can't move. In the meantime, BDZ is still trying to help out, but he just gets shotgunned down by Palos.
Yeah, it's tough. Like the counterplay for Execration, I don't think it's there. Even if they can get a follow-up RP, if they get jump first, they lose a lot of control. They need the Rubik to be around to just with some big spells. They need the Dawnbreaker to be up for the Solar Guardian to provide some sustain, to provide some follow-up stun. And when they can't get that done, Execration has no play. Their high ground hold is good with RP, but without the heroes, they're just going to have to surrender at least one lane here.
I suppose at least they can't go to the mid tier 3 towers. The tier 2 is still standing in the mid lane. But one lane of barracks for free is even better, I'd say. What they found? Oh, Bob has been spotted. UK gonna get him with the Hex. Very hard to see him getting out of this one, as you've got the morph coming in. No blink available for Bob, and just look at the damage. My goodness, Palos just not lacking any damage whatsoever. It's 11k net worth advantage now. I mean, you might wait for the next Roshan as OB.Neon. That's pretty standard, but once that Aegis is up, there's just no stopping them.
No, there really isn't. Like the damage output's there, the durability's there, they've got the save on Hustler with the time lapse. They don't have too much to worry about. Execration are about to hit that BKB timing on Bob, but it's so late. They've got the double Ravage ready to go on Enryu with a refresh up. They even managed to catch out Tino, who is also trying to build into his BKB, so they're stalling out. Even more spikes from Execration. The tips come true from Palos. He's been having a great game, and that's going to set them up. There is a buyback on that Mag, but he doesn't want to dig into his BKB funds here.
He'll buy it. Can't leave him without buyback gold. Mid-tier 2 slowly just being chipped away at by Mamang Daya.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Execration just trying to find a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a very long tunnel right now. So OB.Neon
Dire's
just
middle tower is under attack.
not allowing them out of the
Radiant's
base.
bottom tower
And apart
is
from
under
Marb,
attack.
who is down at the bot lane, but again, he's not
Dire's
the real
middle
pos
tower
1 here
has
for
fallen.
Execration, so the farm's nice, but not really nice enough as BDZ will try to push out the top lane for the team, but immediately will get bursted by Palos, who's now 9-1-5. And we're about to find out when Roshan's spawning. See how lucky OB.Neon get with this timing. It's midway. Not too bad.
Not the quickest timer, but Execration don't really have the forward wards to spot out the Roche. They've got one ramp ward on the Radiant side. That's it. Not the easiest spot. They don't have traps in as well because Bob hasn't been playing in that area. Again, for Execration, it's down to just getting the team fights your way. You have to use RP to your advantage, have the Solar Guardian follow up, group everyone up for Bob to do work on this TA. The damage is still there. Like, if Bob can just stand, use his BKB, get the side blades off, he can still melt heroes. They just haven't been able to put themselves in that situation for Execration. OB.Neon have been dancing around Execration nicely. They have so many tools on hand, so many saves. Double Ravage we haven't even seen come out, and he's had a refresh for a while. But, oh, Marb?
Yep, Hex out, TPs are coming. It is only Hustler. So that's a lot of Starbreaker damage, Marb. Let's take him out. So UK maybe getting a little bit too excited there. I suppose you got to consider the Empower, the Radiance damage. It all adds up here. Can't just kind of run in like that if you are this Lion. Even if you have just been dominating this game. Mid lane, Mamang Daya. Just focusing on pushing out the waves, waiting out the Roshan, and it is officially up now. It's been drawn out as well. Execration, I don't think they have a choice in this. They have to fight this Roshan against OB.Neon. And they may decide to go for a bot tier 2 instead. But if this Age of Shards go the way of OB.Neon, I mean, it just, they become unstoppable.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on
You're not going to have enough control to hold Palos for 2 lives. RP is only going to give you 1 shot. Maybe if you steal a Ravage, that could be the way to go. But no contest coming through from Execration. A bit late in the scan. So you get that second life going on Palos. And they get the tidal wave up in Mamang Daya. So more relocation spells as they immediately smoke and go on the hunt.
They do. See Marb and Bob gonna try and back off. Meanwhile, Enryu with the blink up and Ravage with a refresher orb is ready to go whenever. And Bob, he's been caught out. He'll get the BKB though and is able to TP away. Problem is though, no BKB for the next 70 seconds means you're going high ground again. In OB.Neon, they'll have plenty of time for 2 Raxes as long as Palos does not die here. He has been caught though. Ice Blast out. Palos, he's lost the Aegis. That's 1 time. Tino, he's got another skewer up, commits the RP, back into the fountain, but he's short. He's not going to make it. Marb, though, still trying to fight this Morphling. Doesn't have the damage this time around. However, you've still got the attempts here with the skewer back. Solar Guardian going to come in, but the Torrent is going to connect right on both of them as the skewer is there. Mid-air, Enryu is going to take down the Magnus. And eventually Marb does get taken out by Hustler. The amount of chaos that this Kunkka can create, it's just too much. There's too many things to watch out for.
admiral is on board.
Yeah, free Ag Shard, Torrent Storm coming through. The boat is still up and running for Mamang Daya as well. He didn't have to commit it in the last fight. And they still have double Ravage. Henry didn't have to pop it. The hold without the RP is just a lot harder here for Execration, Bob.
Torrent again, gonna force the BKB out, but what can you get done with that BKB is the problem. Answer is not much yet. BDZ, Ravage, immediately onto that Rubik, playing no games here from Enryu. So get lifted up for a second. BDZ, he actually can still steal the Ravage. Enryu did not use another spell. I don't know if he knows that though. In fact, he'll go after the Mamang Daya spells instead, throwing the boat back the way of OB.Neon, but Bob's already gone.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
On the last racks, John. There's no buyback on Bob.
Dire's middle tower.
It's been a rather one-sided affair here for OB.Neon. I guess Execration have one more fight left in them, but that is going to be 4v5.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
It's a difficult one. RP still half a minute away. They could try for the skewer back, but without the level 20 talent, you just don't have enough range, even with the Aether Lens. So it is a bit tough. Still, one lead on rack still standing, but the X resets are there, and they will get back to work.
30 seconds away for Bob. Tidal wave as well. Gonna catch Bob into the Torrent Storm. Starbreaker gonna give a small amount of magic immunity, and now the BKB does come out. They'll go after Enryu, but he still has the Ravage and will commit it. Meanwhile, RP was there on Palos, but he had the BKB this time around, so no skewer back for Tino, and now they can really clean up. Ravage though, BDZ on landing it onto 5 heroes with an Ice Blast is at least gonna find Enryu, and maybe UK. But it's not going to be enough as Palos drops them while on them, gives them a kiss. This Hustler, he's going to be okay. Mamang Daya, maybe not so much. They've been megged though. Palos, he'll clap back at Bob. They just stare each other down. It's a Spider-Man moment here between these two, John. It's the Hauntos skewer back is there onto Palos, but it's short again. Palos knows the distance. GG.
Yeah, Execration. They got the Bob special. It felt like they had ways of playing around it. Experiment this time on their side with a Dawnbreaker pause. One from Marb. But the execution falls flat. You know, OB.Neon go back to a much more standard draft. They get the Mamang Daya special Kunkka mid. The matchup was a bit tough for Bob. Again, naturally, Kunkka has a bit of a better time every time the Torrent does land. And Mamang Daya was on point this game. He managed to hold out his lane, immediately start rotating early on to give Palos the space to farm up, and Bob just didn't have any room to build up. Like, all the lanes kind of went a bit too slow for Execration to give the TA priority, sole priority. And with the Deso blink timing, with the BKB coming a bit too late, they couldn't have that mid-game impact Execration was shooting for. And they also couldn't pull off the big RP Solar Guardians we were expecting. So the combination just never came through. OB.Neon, they played really well in Execration, just couldn't find that opening this time.
No, certainly couldn't, John. With that, we are going to head to a 15-minute break before our next series, but I believe we do have YG against Omega. I think we kind of already went over this, but Omega, they don't really have much to play for at the moment. They are kind of just eliminated already in this group stage, but I suppose for YG, they still have something to play for. We'll head to that 15-minute break and see how this next series pans out. We'll be right back.